Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A chilling warning from Dr. Janae Caldoon.
We are really at a tipping point right now when it comes to COVID-19 in the state. Our rates are rising exponentially, and we have general community spread.
What she says needs to happen right now to keep it from going from bad to worse.
And the battle over counting ballots hits a crossroads here in Michigan as a judge denies a Trump campaign request to stop counting them.
And it is now 2 days after Election Day, and we still wait to see which candidate has enough electoral votes to become president.
As we come to you at the 5 o'clock hour, let's take a look at where things stand. Joe Biden remains 7 electoral votes away from the magic number of 270. President Trump sitting at 211. Keep in mind, we are still awaiting the results from Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Alaska, and Nevada, which is where officials say it could still be days before we see their final tally.
And back here at home, another major race became official today, and it's another close one. Haley Stevens won the race to keep her congressional seat over the challenger, Eric Osaki.
There are also major developments tonight in the race for U.S. Senate. Gary Peters was declared the winner of that race, but his challenger, John James, says he is not ready to concede. Our Rob Maloney's been following that part of the story. We'll get to him here in just a moment.
Yeah, but we want to start with consumer investigator Hank Winchester following the ruling from a judge denying the Trump camp's bid to temporarily halt the counting of ballots. Hank.
And Kimberly and Devin, even though this legal action didn't take place in a physical courtroom, it was via Zoom, it was fascinating to watch and hear both sides. Essentially, Team Trump saying what happened here inside TCF, it was illegal, it was wrong. And after hearing all the information, the judge said, you don't have a case. You've never seen a Zoom meeting like this one before. The judge, attorneys for Team Trump, and Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, the president's lawyers, working to stop the counting of ballots here in Michigan.
This was an election inspector who was appointed according to the affidavit, that was handling the processing of ballots that had been sent in prior or after on November 4th.
Attorneys arguing a woman named in the filings claims she was told by an election official here at TCF to change the dates on some ballots. Another man, they say, representing the GOP, was denied access to oversee the counting.
Made that statement based on her own firsthand physical evidence and knowledge.
I heard somebody else say something. Tell me why that's not hearsay. Come on now.
And then there's the issue of ballot drop boxes. Team President Trump wanted video and an investigation into who was removing ballots and when.
Our request is that Secretary Benson issue a directive to the election jurisdictions, making that video available so that challengers can have some transparency.
In the end, the judge denying the legal challenge by the president's team. Why? Well, the counting is already over, and the legal action should have been taken up, she says, with clerks and not the Secretary of State. Back out here live in downtown Detroit, there's also the possibility of an appeal, although we haven't heard about one just yet. Again, the bottom line, the judge saying you're going after the wrong person. It's not the Secretary of State. If you want to take legal action, you need to go after the individual clerks. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank.
And Hank, I understand the Michigan Attorney General has had something to say about it as well.
Devin, she certainly does. In a nutshell, she says that the allegations, the legal case moving forward, that it was ridiculous. You're going to hear from her at the top of the hour. But she also talks about a disturbing discovery she says she made inside a local post office. And we're going to have that for you new tonight at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Back
All
to
right,
you.
Hank, we will talk to you then. Now, tonight, as Gary Peters is declaring victory in the race for U.S. Senate, his opponent, John James, is saying not so fast.
In a statement today, James says he has deep concerns about the results, which currently show him losing by more than 87,000 votes. Rod Maloney spent the day talking to both sides, and Rod, sounds like James definitely isn't ready to concede here.
No, not at all. He believes that there is something underhanded at hand here, and he wants to have it investigated. The question is, where do you go and how do you do it? Michigan's junior senator pulled his Harley into a Rochester apple orchard today, saying a November ride on the winding roads helped him recuperate from a tough campaign. His wife, children, and staffers flanked him.
And certainly I also want to thank, obviously, the voters of the state of Michigan for having confidence in me.
But inevitably, the bare-knuckle campaign and its aftermath came to the fore. Opponent John James put out this statement today saying, quote, "This campaign is not about me. It never has been. It's about the people of Michigan. Every vote must count, and elections must be fair and honest. While Senator Peters is currently ahead, I have deep concerns that millions of Michiganders may have been disenfranchised by a dishonest few who cheat." Peters fired back.
Endless, frivolous lawsuits are unacceptable, and they speak very badly to the character of the people that think that's the way we should govern.
And James went on in his statement, quote, "When this process is complete, I will of course accept the results and the will of the people. But at this time, there is enough credible evidence to warrant an investigation to ensure that elections were conducted in a transparent, legal, and fair manner. Those who object likely have something to hide," end quote.
And ultimately, we have to support the peaceful transfer of power. And understand, when you lose, you do it gracefully. If you have character, if you have integrity, you do it gracefully.
Now, Gary Peters was talking about lawsuits there, and we know of no official lawsuit that has been filed, but we also are uncertain from the John James campaign as to what precisely it is they're going to do. They did send an attorney to the Wayne County Board of Canvassers today. He did complain about the situation, but he did not ask for any action, and the board did not offer any or talk about an investigation. Back to you.
So, Rod, did Senator Peters have more to say about this situation?
He sure did. He called it sad and pathetic, among other things. He says that it's time to get on with life, and he's ready to go back to Washington, go back to session, and get to work.
We'll see how it all plays out. Rod, we appreciate it.
Governor Whitmer, meanwhile, says this year's general election saw record numbers at the polls here in Michigan. More than 5.5 million votes were counted across the state. 3.3 million absentee ballots cast in this year's election. So 71% of the state's voting age population turned out, the largest number in the last 60 years. The governor believes the outcome was a collective effort.
Democracy is a team sport, and here in Michigan, we worked hard to ensure that the outcome of the election was determined by the will of the people of our great state. And the people have spoken. And with the election behind us, now is the time for us to find common ground and come together.
Governor also thanked the thousands of poll workers who spent days and months preparing for this year's election.
Today's number of new coronavirus cases is a daily record. The state confirms 5,710 new cases of COVID-19 in the past 24 hours. Along with that, 51 new deaths have been reported, including 26 from a review of past vital records.
With the steady rise in numbers, it has the state's chief medical officer delivering a rather stark warning if changes aren't made soon. Dr.
Janae Caldoun says models show the state could see 100 COVID deaths per day by the end of December. Let's bring in Larry Spruill live tonight. Larry, hospitalizations are on the rise.
And Kimberly, our state leaders say that is not a good thing for the state of Michigan, and that they are afraid things could be a repeat from earlier this year.
We're not yet seeing the hospitalizations that we saw in the spring, but they are rapidly rising.
It's news that Chief Medical Executive Dr. Janae Caldoun says she was afraid it was going to happen. For days now, there has been a steady rise in COVID-19 numbers, and if things don't change and change quick, state leaders say the outcome is not good.
We have models that estimate that at the rate we are going, if we don't do anything else, if we don't change our behaviors, we could be seeing up to 100 deaths a day by the end of December.
That's why Governor Gretchen Whitmer is asking and pleading to state legislators to make a change.
I would welcome codification. The legislature has codified a lot of my other executive orders, and I'm glad for that. But I think that this is the most important one, and I'm hopeful that they will consider doing that and embracing and promoting masking as a bipartisan effort across the state. Because the fewer people that do this, the more likely we're going to see uncontrolled spread and economic impacts, and most importantly, devastating personal impacts in our health.
And if a law like this is passed, that would be huge. And Governor Whitmer also mentioned that they are loosening requirements for restaurants. They mentioned that the restaurants do not have to deny entry for customers who do not want to provide their phone numbers. We are live tonight. Larry Sproul, Local 4.
All right, Larry.
Meanwhile, Rochester Community Schools moves all students to remote learning because of coronavirus.
Yeah, Rochester says the move is because of where the Oakland County Health Division's risk level is. K through 12 students will move to remote learning until at least November 27th. The district reports it has 20 active cases and 174 students and staff in quarantine. This surge in cases has also led the 36th District Court in Detroit to dial back operations.
All in-person matters at the court have been suspended until November 30th. Some proceedings still will be held virtually via Zoom and YouTube. Court officials say health and safety concerns are the reason for the suspension. The buildings mostly have been closed since early in the coronavirus pandemic, except for very specific circumstances.
All right, off and running on this Thursday. We need to check in with Ben. Ben.
Devin and Kim, we have covered a lot of ground here in the last 4 days, from a few degrees below average to 20 degrees above yesterday, or close to it. Find out how much more of that we will recover going forward. Coming up.
Coming up, we're going to tell you what it was like and show you what it was like inside the fishbowl that was the TCF vote counting center last night, where some workers actually had to be convinced to remain on the job to do their patriotic duty.
And they didn't even know it was happening until it was too late. What happened to a mother and daughter as they were getting in the car to go to work this morning? Sean.
A huge break in the murder case of Egypt Covington, a cold case since 2017, but now 2 people in custody. Instant reaction from Covington's family.